So we'll try that again. Not in the mood. Right. Sorry, folks. Oh, little Ted fell over. Well spotted, though. One of them days today. Just bear with me while I bring up the video on the laptop so I can see your comments. Why is that not showing up now? Oh, for God's sake. Oh, here we go. No, is it? No. Yeah, no. Oh, it's not even showing up. This live stream's not even showing up. My bloody computer now. Oh, I've just given myself an instant anxiety attack there. Stressing me right out. It's not the lens need cleaning. See, it's still the same. It's still thingy. I'm just trying to get this to load up on the laptop so that I can read your comments properly. So please bear with me. I think that's it there. Is that the one? Third time? No, what? Why are you not showing up? It's ridiculous. Ah, right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Need to bugger off. Don't want you. Let me turn you off. Like that. Let me turn you up to that. Right. Hi, folks. I can see the chat now. My apologies. I was trying to set it up to do it through OBS with the camera that I brought. I thought it was all set up properly, but it wasn't, clearly. So I don't know what's going on. I'm going to need to spend some more time figuring out how to do that. I'm worn out. Just that has worn me out. It's just, oh my God, just one of them days today. Right. This is not the PAP report. That's what this live stream was going to be called, not the PAP report. Because there is no PAP report tonight, which is why I'm coming on here to do a live stream. As long as you can all hear me still. Okay, cool. Right, the reason that I'm coming on to do a live this evening rather than a PAP report is because I wanted to. No, right. This isn't going to be a massive long video tonight, but I have a few things to say that I wanted to share with you all. And for those people that don't get to come on the live stream, I want them to hear it. So I don't want to make this a long live stream. So Right. First of all, I've seen something today which I didn't see yesterday, and I want to put that right. In the report yesterday with the guy who got put on the floor and the police constable put his knee on his head, well, I've seen today a clear blown up video of that. And after having it pointed out to me in this clear blown up version of the video, I can see where the cop has kneed him in the head whilst he was on the floor after he'd knelt on his head. Now, in the video that I saw yesterday, my genuine opinion, which is why I said it, is that he knelt on his head, which was bang out of order, and I said that in the video. He did kneel on his head, and that was a wanky thing to do. But when he was on the floor and the guy was struggling, to me, it looked as though he moved, as in shuffled while he was struggling, and he caught him with his knee. Okay, so that is why yesterday I said that it didn't look like a knee in the head. Okay, I didn't say he didn't knee him in the head. I said it didn't look like a knee in the head, although his knee made contact with him. It looked to me, on the video that I saw yesterday, it looked as though he had caught him as he was moving position. Yeah, that's what it looked like to me. Today, I've seen a blown up version of that video, okay, and had it pointed out to me. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I will always amend myself if I'm wrong. So I do know there was a couple of people in the comments, and I'm not doing this because of the comments that I had. I'm doing this simply because I made a mistake, and that's it. Do you know what I mean? As I've done in the past, if I make a mistake, I will always come back to you and rectify that if there is fresh information that proves my opinion wrong. And that's exactly what's happened. So I wanted to come on here and say that my view on that particular incident yesterday was wrong. And had I not been shown that video today, however, then, you know, I would have continued with my opinion, because that's what I thought I saw. So yeah, so that's the first thing. Okay, that's the first thing. Secondly, yeah, right. Secondly, and this is probably going to get a little bit moody now, so my apologies for that. I'm not going to name any names because that's not what I do. Okay, so I'm not going to name any names, but I've had a few people call me out as being a racist because of the comments that I made yesterday. Now, I still don't think there was anything that I said yesterday that was racist or discriminatory, for that matter. And I'm not going to apologise for my opinions and my views. If I'm wrong, I will amend that and I'll apologise if I'm wrong, okay? I'll never knowingly give false information. That's one thing I won't ever do. But I will always be honest with you. And if I have an opinion, that is my honest opinion, okay? And I won't change that. I won't change from that. I won't pander to people, okay? If somebody wants to call me a racist, a bigot, a homophobe, an Islamophobe, whatever, I'm none of those things. But if anybody, if people want to call me that and people think that I'm that, then that's down to them. Now, I was disappointed. I'm going to make a cigarette because I've been stressed out today. I was disappointed yesterday with some of the comments that I got. Now, the comments are people's opinions, and absolutely people are entitled to their opinions. And I try and pride myself on the fact that I allow everyone to have their opinions. Do you know what I mean? And I will always try where I can to discuss opinions with people. Okay, I will always try and discuss opinions with people. I won't simply turn out and lambast somebody for having an opinion that's different from me. I will always try and discuss that and you know, try and understand it from their side, and for them to try and understand it from my side. And a lot of people on this channel say the same thing. They say to me, look, love the way that that you allow people to speak their mind, and you don't you know, you don't shut people down. I'm like, you know, like a lefty on Twitter. So that it disappointed me a bit that some people, not everybody, because some of the messages I got were people's opinions, and they weren't lambasting me. They were just saying to me, I don't think you understood what was going on, for example. And that's fine. I will try and interact with those people. However, as I say, it disappointed me that some people who congratulate me on the fact that I allow people to have their opinions on here jumped all over me because of my opinion. Bearing in mind that my opinion was on specific incidents, not on a group as a whole. Okay, so for example, I was talking about specific incidents that happened rather than the background of everybody of the person that was involved. Does that make sense? So if I was talking about particular black people, I was talking about the ones that were in those videos, not all of them. Okay, and I thought that I should come on and do a live stream, right, to just to set this straight. And I'm not pandering to people. I will, if I have an opinion and I believe that opinion, then I will stick by it, right? And that's why I've not taken this down. Stand by your beliefs with conviction, #integrity. Okay, I'll never back down from somebody just because they don't like my opinion. That's it. And I'm sorry if people don't like that, but as I say, I pride myself on the fact that I understand that everybody has opinions. Lots of people won't have the same opinions as me. What am I to do? Shout and scream at them, have a go at them, or understand that they've got an opinion that might differ from me because of the way that they see things? Do you know what I mean? So yeah, Lucifer, I know, as I said in that video, or underneath the video in the pinned comments, over the coming weeks, I'm going to be trying different things. I don't have the time to learn to use the new program because I'm doing the videos for the channel. So I have to learn to use the program and come up with new designs and things like that for the videos whilst I'm making the videos. And over time, I hope that I'm going to try different things, and it's going to eventually form into a good looking delivery, a good looking video. That's my aim. But unfortunately, there's going to be things that that people might not like seeing on screen, for example, but I have to do that in order to learn to use the program. So yeah, and No, petrolhead. No, it's not that, mate. I'm not. I'm not shaken about it. I'm disappointed. Definitely disappointed. But if I, if I was shaken, I wouldn't have come on it. If I felt bad for the way that, for my opinions, then I wouldn't have come on here to do a live stream. Do you know what I mean? But one thing that we need to remember is that there's a lot of people out there whose emotions are running high at the moment. Do you know what I mean? Which is why I'm not calling anybody out specifically. I'm just trying to explain my position in that respect. And I know I don't need to explain, but, you know, I try and be as honest with you folks as I possibly can without giving away trade secrets. But ultimately, I'm not calling anybody out individually. I just want to put this out there that, you know, if anybody believes that I'm some kind of an ist or I'm an ism, then, you know, I don't know what else to say, because I'm always going to have my own opinions on situations, incidents. Don't care about the background of people in that respect. Okay, if it's an incident and it involves someone who's gay and them being gay is part of that incident, then I'll bring it up. Doesn't mean I'm homophobic. The same as if there's an incident and I believe that their being black is something to do with it, then I will discuss that as well. So that's it. And I'm not going to change that. Unfortunately, some people don't like to hear my truth. Do you know what I mean? Some people don't like to hear the hard truth when it comes from somebody else. And it might not be their truth, but it's mine. So that's that. But as I say, I'm certainly not going to change the way that I do things in that respect. Although I was, just to prove a point, I was going to make I was going to do my PAP reports for the rest of this week without any news about Black Lives Matter or any racism incidents. I was going to leave them out as well. Anything to do with Black Lives Matter in any way, shape or form, I was actually going to leave out of all of my reports for the rest of the week. But I slept on it and I thought to myself, do you know what? That's defeating the entire object of this channel. Do you know what I mean? The entire object of this channel is to bring you the things that are going wrong, that are blatantly going wrong. Okay. And there's going to be some incidents that we see differently. Do you know what I mean? One of the things for me, and I was talking to somebody last night, and I don't know if that person wants me to say if I was talking to them or not, but I was talking to somebody last night, and I can't remember what I was going to say. Let me have a swig of my coffee. Photography and light, nobody's going to dictate how I do things. I had a bit of a wobble last night, okay, in the sense that to prove a point, I was going to omit any news to do with BLM, regardless to how closely related it is or not. And then people by the end of the week would have said, well, how comes you haven't reported on this, or how comes you haven't reported on that? And then it would have been a case of, well, look, do you know what I mean? I don't care what people call me generally, but this is, do you know what I mean? I put everything into this channel, literally. I put everything into this channel. And I'm not having people start calling me things like that on here. Do you know what I mean? Not after the time, effort that I've put into this channel. So I will always speak my mind. And unfortunately, some people are not going to like that. So there. So do you know what? Right? Isn't it weird how? Isn't it weird how that movement has now affected my channel and me? Do you know what I mean? It's affecting everything. It's just affecting everything. And again, I certainly never tar people with the same brush, right? But it's like the police, okay? Now, one of the problems that we have, and this is, when I look at a video, let me put it this way, when I look at a video, I don't look at that video looking for their balls ups. Because if I do that, then because I'm looking for it, I'm going to find it. Even if there's nothing there to find, I'm going to find something. Okay, this is what I was talking to somebody last night about, and this is what they said to me. And it's exactly what I do. They said, for example, if you are in a relationship and you think your partner's cheating on you, even if they're not, if you think they are, you will find something to corroborate your fears. Even if there's nothing to find, you'll find something that in your mind corroborates your fears. Okay. So I do not look at videos looking for the problems. Okay, I watch a video, and if the problem pops out at me, then it pops out at me, and that's it, and I'll report on that, for example. But if I go into any videos and I go, right, he must be doing something wrong, let's have a look, I'll find something wrong. And unfortunately, that's what a lot of people seem to be doing. A lot of people are so highly strung at the moment, okay, so emotional at the moment, that I think they're finding things where there isn't anything to find. Do you know what I'm saying? Confirmation bias. I think that's what it is. Yeah. So, so that's that. So, well, it's not so much justifying myself. I mean, I might be. Maybe I am. Maybe subconsciously I'm just trying to justify myself because I don't like being called the things that some people have called me after last night's video. But more than that, I just want people to understand where I'm coming from. Do you know what I mean? As I say, if I explain how I come to a conclusion on a video, if that conclusion's wrong and it's proven to be wrong, then I will come back and I will rectify that, and I'll write that mistake, you know, and I'll let you know that I made a mistake. So yeah, so I'm not going to apologize if I've upset anybody. I'm afraid I'm not going to apologize for that, because my opinion is still my opinion. Okay. Same as your opinion's your opinion, and you stand by that, and you won't apologize for having your opinion. So just because I'm on YouTube and I'm making videos, it doesn't mean that I'm going to change who I am to make other people feel better. So No, Inge, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying I'm not, if I upset anybody, I'm not going to apologise for that, because we can't help it, can we, at the end of the day? Sometimes you just say something or believe something that other people don't agree with, and it's going to upset them. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, so that's that, really. Oh God, people still going on about eggs. Jay, and that's exactly the same for me, mate. Exactly the same for me. One of the problems that we've had recently, I think, is that all the news is practically either about COVID or not so much, and Black Lives Matter, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Um, so unfortunately, those are the things that are spoken about the most. And because I'm talking about lots of incidents to do with BLM, it sounds, maybe, I don't know, maybe it sounds like I'm picking on them. Who knows? But people need to understand that this is something that's going on, and it's in the news a lot, and lots of people are bringing up all of these, literally all of a sudden, there's lots of people saying that, coming out with stories that they've been involved with. Therefore, it's coming into the news, isn't it? And I need to report on that, because it's police abusing powers if they're being racist and if they are genuinely abusing their powers. But if I turn around and say, and this is what I've always said, not all the police are arseholes. And the reason I say that is because if there are good police that think, sod it, we're going to get screwed anyway, we might as well be arseholes as well. And what does that do for trying to get some, trying to get the police force back on track again? If the ones that are joining with genuine intentions think, do you know what, everybody hates us anyway, everybody thinks we're going to be arseholes, so we might as well be arseholes, and we're going to have a harder fight on our hands. I'm just having a look at, I'm just going through some of these comments, folks. Huggy, I'm standing by my words. As I said, I did make a mistake yesterday, and that is what I'm, the first thing that I spoke about here. The first thing that I spoke about here was the fact that I've seen a video today that proved my opinion wrong about an incident yesterday in the PAP reports, and therefore, as I always do, I rectify that. Do you know what I mean? But other than that, the rest of it, as I say, my opinions, I stand by. Exactly the same as I will do what I can for you, to allow you to have your opinions. I think I saw that, Joshua. I'm sure I saw that come through earlier. I've not looked at it yet, but I'm sure I've seen it in my inbox, mate. So I'll check that out. Lichen. I don't call the police out just for asking people questions. I call the police out when they abuse their positions, when they abuse the powers. If you've watched any of my videos, you'll know that. I think there's some people on here actually who have been subscribers for quite a while, and there are some videos that I've put out. There's not a lot, granted, there's not a lot, but there are some videos I've put out where I've actually praised the police for what they've done and for how they've reacted to a situation. No worries, Inge. I might be on for about an hour from now, maybe. I'm trying to keep up with your comments on here, folks. Dodgy FPV, exactly, mate. Listen, if somebody's got an opinion and they come to me with a genuine opinion and they want to discuss it, I'm more than happy to discuss it, whether it's in the comments, on a WhatsApp or whatever it might be. Do you know what I mean? The times that I refuse, well, I don't always refuse, sometimes it's quite fun, but the times that I might refuse to interact with somebody is when somebody tries to throw their opinion at me and get me to have their opinion, if that makes sense. They're asleep at the moment, Molly. And that's why I always say as well, if I'm doing a report, and I'll give you the facts as I've got them, and then if I've got an opinion on it, I will always say, in my opinion, X, Y, Z. Do you know what I mean? So you don't get my opinion mixed up with the actual facts of a particular incident. So how's everyone been? Daisy, Jay said Alice is his favourite. Yeah, it is. It most certainly is warm, isn't it? It's not really been. I mean, the sun's been out, but it's been quite cloudy up here. But it's been really close, really clammy, and yeah, not very nice. It's one of them days where you need to have a bath, and that's why I'm not going to be on here for too long this evening. Chronicles of Bap. Rainy and windy. Well, we're supposed to have, I mean, it's supposed to be a heat wave or something, isn't it, over the next few days? Hi, Fergus. Yeah, it's been one of them days today. I've been having I had a bit of a head wobble last night, and today I decided that rather than do a PAT report, so I'd come on and do a live stream just to set a few things straight. So do you know what? I think only one person has said they've had a good day. Is everyone all right? Has everyone had a good day? Little Ted. Here he is. Let's pop him up there. Can you stay there? There you go. Good. I'm glad you've had good days. That's good to hear. Even better when the weather's nice. See, everyone keeps talking about eggs. Do you know the other day I bought I had an email, one of these voucher site things, you know, that tells you all about all the good deals and stuff. That's exactly what I'm talking about, Molly. And Thornton's chocolate, the store, were doing cheap Easter eggs. So I brought like 60 quid's worth of Easter eggs, Thornton's Easter eggs, for like 24 quid or something like that. Oh man. So Molly will tell you, I mean, some of the eggs are like that big, like the size of my head. Orange, toffee. Oh, beautiful they were. But I've still got some left, Molly. Yeah, I'm good, Ian. I'm good. Did you eat all yours? Did you eat all that one I gave you, Holly? I don't know when. I did have a torch in here actually, but it's gone. News Now Houston. I've seen some of his stuff. Oh, Lindsay, I know how you feel. Sorry, I've just see Jay reply to you, so I've just scrolled back through the comments to see your comment. Yeah, it's not easy, especially at the moment, even with these restrictions lifted a bit more. I think most, if not all of you, know that we're going to have that second wave, and it's going to be, the restrictions are going to be twice as bad. And I'm not trying to make it worse for you, because it stresses me out as well. But I think it's that knowing that that's going to happen at some point, which is stressful. Yes, Molly, you burst my bubble by only letting me give you an Easter egg. Who said I think it's real? I think there most definitely is a virus of some kind. It's definitely not what they're saying it is. It's definitely not as bad as they're saying it is. That is already been proven. Yeah, 60 quid's worth of Easter eggs, but I only paid 24 quid for them, which was an absolute result. Yota, if that's how you pronounce it, they are useless. Ultfit, thank you very much. Is COVID-19 made in China? It is, according to the t-shirt design that I made. Photography Light and Magic. I think I saw your email sitting in my inbox as well. I've not had a chance to go through emails yet. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, there is no cure for the common cold. So why is everybody going on about a vaccine cure or whatever for this one? Do you know what I mean? It's just ridiculous. You've run out of egg puns and jokes. Thank God. I thought I was going to crack up. Greta Thunberg, your profile picture looks like the Essex logo, if you like, the three swords. Is that what it is? Ah, it's hard to tell, but I don't know why. I suppose it's because I'm from there. It just made me think of it. Oh, I just realised the lights aren't moving here. This'll help you to know if I've stopped or not. There you go, just to annoy you. That will let you know whether or not I've frozen. How did you send it through WhatsApp or email, Jay? WhatsApp. Okay, sounds. No, it won't tell. It won't tell you if I've died in the chair. No, it won't. So like the flailing arm man off of Family Guy, you know, just go like that. Do I listen to metal songs? Some. I don't go out of my way, but I do listen to some. It depends what mood I'm in. Yeah, Jay. Yeah, I'll be in touch with you. I'm trying to get all this set up to work properly, and I'm having a nightmare, as you may have been able to tell from the 3 attempts to get this live stream going. Pink Floyd's brilliant. Yeah, I listen to Pink Floyd. Again, it depends. It more depends on the time of day than anything else for me. Depend to determine what music I listen to. Pink Floyd is kind of 2-3 o'clock in the morning music for me. The worst thing a police officer did to me is that directed at me, Mrs. Bankrupt Pony. Yeah, the worst thing they did to me, because every other time pretty much that I've been involved with the police was my own fault. You know, I've said before, if I've done something wrong, then I'll put my hands up to it. I was an arse when I was growing up, and I had lots of encounters with the police, and it was all deserved. However, when I got arrested up here just for trying to take some stock footage, which is what started this channel, that was the worst the police had done to me, to be fair. And that was simply a teach me a lesson arrest. That's what that was. Secret, take that, fan. There's no secret. One Direction as well. I was trying to get some stock footage. At the time I was learning to build website templates, and I went up to the local police station. There's a police station, a fire station, and an ambulance station, all practically next door to each other. And I went up there to try and catch about 20 seconds worth of footage, which I didn't get. And I ended up being questioned for about 40 minutes, asking for my details, which I told them what I was doing, quite happy to tell them what I was doing. I've no issues there at all. But I didn't need to tell them who I was because I was doing nothing wrong. The first cop said that they'd spoken to their sergeant and they were going to leave me to it. Now, let's face it, if you're doing something and the old bill say, I'm going to leave you to it, what does that tell you? Does it tell you that you're doing something wrong, or does it tell you that you're allowed to do what you're doing? Because my hair is grey and short, I still look bald. Actually, it does from that angle, doesn't it? So, yeah, so the cop said, I'll leave you to it. He went inside. About 10 minutes later, two more came out and they didn't like what I was doing. Told me I wasn't allowed to do it. To which I said, yes, I am. They then ran inside, and within about 3 minutes, I'm surrounded by 8 police, all threatening me with shining lights in my eyes, LED lights in my eyes, threatening me with non-existent terrorism laws. It's madness, madness. Hello, Welshie. Yeah, well, I went back 21 days after it happened. And I was fine. And I went back a year to the day it happened as well. And it was fine. So doesn't it make you wonder, if I was doing something that wrong, wouldn't I have been picked up the second time I went and the third time I went? That's right, Graham. Exactly right, mate. That incident is what started this channel, and I never intended to do what I'm doing now on here. The whole point of the channel really was just to follow the situation that I was in at the time. So Yeah, all that hassle, handcuffed behind my back, sat in a police van for about 15 minutes, and then taken to a police station. Put in a cell, which I shouldn't have been put in a cell, because they actually arrested me for under Section 50 of the Police Reform Act. They said that I failed to give them my details. But the problem is, I was trying to get them to explain what they, why they was suggesting that I had caused alarm, harassment and distress because I was standing on a pavement with a camera on a tripod. I mean, what? Oh yeah, it does seem to be lagging a bit now. Terrified. I thought you'd run out of jokes, King. A marked man? Oh, me? I don't know if I'm a marked man or not, to be fair. I mean, I'll be honest. I don't go out my way to get into bother with the police. Not like I used to when I was a kid. In fact, I've not had any interactions with the police since that time, and that's over a year ago. Not that that's an extremely long time or anything, but how you doing, Danny Byrne? Oh, and I've been arrested in the past. I was arrested enough times as I was growing up. In fact, I've been arrested since I've been up here a few times for having a few ruckuses, shall we say. Oh yeah, and there was that time I got arrested for, and yeah, it was that time I got arrested for nearly 100 grand's worth of weed. I don't think about it much, to be honest. That's why it nearly slipped my mind. It's not something that I think about. I don't need to remember it because I don't really discuss it. But oh yeah, it was all Percy. You got EUPD as well, Mark? That's what I've got. No, I'm still chasing that through at the moment. I've put in fact, they should have replied by now. I'd done it a month ago to ACRO. I'd done it last year to ACRO and asked them for everything that they've got. But because I stated some specific incidents, they told me that they couldn't do it. And I had to go through the police stations directly. But the police stations, which I did that, they've sent me stuff and it's not got everything in it. There's loads of stuff missing. So I've done it again. I've done it last month, on the 22nd of last month. I've done it again to Acro. So I'm waiting for them to get back to me. And in fact, I've got it open on, it's minimized at the moment, but I've got the email there with a phone number on, so I can phone them up tomorrow and say to them, oi, where's my paperwork? Oh yeah, no, I know that, like, and to be honest, I've forgotten about a lot of the stuff that I've done, and I was just interested really to see um, what is on there. Also, they can have some of the intelligence stuff on there as well, because when they do a PNC check about you, and it comes back, you know, like markers and warnings and all that kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? So. So it'd be interesting to see what info they've got. Evening, spunky dude. Oh, that's just a normal cigarette. I don't smoke weed. I didn't sell it either, Lucifer. I didn't sell it. It got taken. Not by the police either. And I didn't get taxed. The weed store, to be honest, there's not much to tell about that situation. At the time, I'd split up with, I'd been with a girl for a few years. I'd started a business, had an office, had you know, my staff. I had a sub office down in Portsmouth and one in Bristol, and you know, it was doing well, but I didn't realise I was working so hard I wasn't paying any attention to the missus. So anyway, I've gone home one night, and she turned around and she kicked me out. She said, "Oh, I can't do this anymore. Kicking you out. Get out." I was like, "All right, well, give us till the weekend, and I'll get somewhere to stay." She went, "No, get out now." So she kicked me out at like 11:30 at night, and I had nowhere to go. So I went to my office, and I stayed in the office for a few nights. But then one of the other offices, because it was one of them office complexes where you've got loads of offices in there for different businesses, one of the other offices grasped me up for sleeping in the office, which was against the terms of my agreement. So they cancelled my agreement, and I had to get out of the office. Therefore, I had no office, and I had nowhere to live. At which point, I had to let everybody go that was working for me. I couldn't run it. Couldn't run the office. All my stuff was in there. My computer and everything else was in there because I couldn't take it. Excuse me. So I ended up losing the business. I was homeless. I was sleeping in a doorway of a post office. And then one of the guys that I did have working for me arranged for me to rent a place from somebody that he knew. So I gave him 3 months rent up front, which was all the money that I had spare at the time. So I gave him 3 months money up front, moved all my stuff in, went out the next day to try and sort some stuff out. And when I got back home, or back to the place about 10 o'clock that night, this was the day after I'd paid the guy the money. When I got back to the place the following night, the locks had been changed. And there was a notice on the window from the landlord. And the landlord wasn't the guy that I thought was the landlord. In fact, the landlord had kicked him out for subletting rooms, which he shouldn't have been doing. So he disappeared with my money. At that point, all of my clothes were in the house, and I, just lost my house that I was living in with my bird, lost my business, then lost my clothes. It really went to shit. Anyway, getting back onto track, I ended up getting a place to rent, so I've moved in. But I was in the gutter at that point. My head was just completely mashed, and depression had really taken a stranglehold. The ex, her cousin, I saw him one day when I was on my way out of the doctor's, and he said, "Look, I'll give you a lift home." And then he actually took me shopping, because he got back to mine, saw I had nothing in, took me shopping, paid for some food for me and that. Went back to mine, and he sat with us for a couple of hours, and we was talking and that. And he started coming round quite often. And after a couple of weeks or so, 3 or 4 weeks, he says to me, "Look," he goes, "you need to get back down south with with your family and that." And he kept offering me money to rent out my spare room, basically. And initially I said no. For about a month or so, I said no. Every couple of days he's asking. And eventually I got ground down so much that I just agreed to it. So I said yeah. So he brought the stuff round, kitted all the room out, and ended up with quite a large bedroom full of plants. Anyway, this particular one night, I kind of sitting there, and he's phoned me up, and he said to me, "Right," he goes, "my mate's coming round." I was like, "Well, what for?" And he said, he's moving in. I'm like, "What? What do you mean he's moving in?" He goes, "Oh, he's moving in." I went, "No, it's not. I'm not having anyone move in with me." And he went, no. He goes, "He's moving in." I said, "No, he ain't." And he goes to me, "Right." He goes, "Are you going to kill anyone if they come through your..." He goes, "Are you going to kill anyone if they come through your door?" And I was like, "What are you talking about? Am I going to kill anyone if they come through my door?" And he goes, "If anybody comes through your door because of what you've got going on in the bedroom, are you going to stab them?" I said, "No, I'm not going to stab them." So, "Well, you're fucking mental." And he goes, "Well then," he goes, "that's why my mate's coming round to move in." So I went, "No, he ain't." I says, "If that's the case," I said, "you can come round, you can get all that shit out of the room, and you can fuck off with it." So anyway, 10 minutes later, he's turned up, banging on my door. I've let him in, and he's pulled a knife out on me and threatened to cut me up. Basically saying to me, "Look, you either do as you're told, or I'm going to stab you." My head was still in the gutter at that point, so I just said to him, "Well, fucking do it then." You know what I mean? At which point we had an argument, and he ended up leaving. Now, he had a key to my place, so he could let himself in and sort all the plants out. So that night I went to bed. I woke up about 9 o'clock the next morning. It was a Saturday morning. I woke up, and there was loads of noise going on outside my bedroom door. So I've opened the bedroom door, and there he is with his mate. And they've cut all these fucking trees down, because they weren't small, they were massive. So he's cut all these trees down, and he's just dragging them out, down the stairs, out the front door, and putting them in the back of a motor. In the, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, and he's walking out the front door with bushes. After he'd done that, he pissed off. So I spent all day cleaning up, sitting down that evening, about 11 o'clock at night, I'm sitting down watching the telly, and I see something. There's a gap in the curtains, and I see something. So I've got up, gone over to the curtains, I've opened the curtains. Guess what? Guess what there was? See if anyone can guess. Exactly. Matrix, as they're called up here. Drug, gun and gang crime unit. Yeah, so I've opened the door. There's like three vans out front, a dozen old bill or so. So I've just opened the door and let them in. And I've gone and sat down, and they've come in and they've said, right, we've heard intelligence, this, that, and the other. So I went, yeah, upstairs. Now, luckily for me, and I don't mind saying all this anyway because they know all this, but luckily for me, everything had been cut down and it was gone. All that was left is the stalks, basically, the pots, hydroponics, the cuttings, and there was about almost 100 cuttings or so, I think. Might have been slightly less than that. But what they've done is, although there was no, fully grown bushes in there, shall we say, they said that the cuttings, even though they hadn't started rooting or anything like that, they said the cuttings were classed as having a potential yield. So they done me for having the cuttings. Yeah, so I got done for that, basically. And the guy whose stuff it was disappeared. Yeah, and I never got my money. Oh, Graham, there was way more than 10. 18 months, suspended for 2 years. Tag for 12 weeks and probation for a year. So, yeah, 18 months suspended for 2 years. No community service, just probation and tag. No worries, Fergus, take it easy. Well, it's funny how all the stuff was taken out that morning, and that evening old Bill come through the door. Do you know what I mean? So suspended just means that it's put on hold. Yeah, so you've basically got the threat of going to prison held over you for however long. For in my case, I had the threat of going to prison for 18 months at any point during the 2-year period. So if it had got to the last day of 2 years and I got arrested, they could have then put me in prison for 18 months. So that's what suspended means. It just means it's put on hold. And if you don't get into trouble again, then you don't have to go to prison. 18 months in suspenders. Yeah, it's one of them things though, do you know what I mean? I don't think I did, Brian, to be honest. I don't think I did have a fine. Um, I don't recall having a fine. I doubt it, Chris. I think you're right. I think the if it hadn't have been taken, I doubt very much they would have been round. But such is life, and this is what I mean. I made a decision, and I said yes, you can use the room. Do you know what I mean? So there was no point in lying about it and trying to get out of it. If you do something wrong, then you take the rap for it, don't you? Do you know what I mean? It could have been, Chris, it could have been, but normally they would have taken a bit longer because they would have, to get a warrant normally takes a little bit longer than that, just off of one person's word, for example. Although it could have been. I mean, there is a possibility. Yeah, fair cop, and that's what it is. Do you know what I mean? If you do something wrong, you put your hands up to it. Do you know what I mean? There's no point in making it worse for yourself. You know. Um, I'm not saying that you should give yourself up as such. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying give up your rights, but there's no point in bitching about the police if they catch you for doing something wrong. If you've done something wrong and you get caught, it's tough shit, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, so I don't my beef with the police is nothing to do with 99.9% of my interactions. Nothing to do with them at all, because that 99.9% was all my own doing. Do you know what I mean? It was my own fault. Back in one tick. back. I only went to drain the main vein, and yes, I did wash my hands. Don't start that again, Jay. No, they're not, Holly, because if they were, you wouldn't be talking about it, because you'd be speechless. I reckon it was Tango Moggy. I reckon it was. I've got no proof, but I'm pretty sure that it was. It is at the Velcro stage. It's at that stage, you know, when you get out of the bath and you get the towel on your head and it gets stuck and your head goes like that. I thought you was going, Fergus. You're still here? Any more than 3 shakes is a wank. Oops. No, they're just taking up different positions so they can keep an eye on you guys. Oh, is it a different Fergus? It's not a different Fergus, is it? Oh, my apologies. There's some people that want to say hello to you. Come on. Come. Who's first? Who's first? Hello. Hello. Hello, baby girl. Hello. Little baby. Oh, can you stop sneezing on me? What about you, Daisy? Daisy? You come say hello? Oh, watch your back. Come here. Oh, hello. Hello, kid. Oh. Little baby. All right. Athelstan, not if that's something that's come out today. I haven't. I know, Andy. I know. That's why I don't let them get up straight away. You see, because if I show the dogs right at the beginning, everyone disappears. Oh no, I won't rub my eyes. Have you come back for some more? Oh. Ready? Hang on. Ready, steady, go. Oh. Hello. Looking the wrong way. You've got to look that way in the camera. Breathe in their face. It's the other one that snores. You don't snore, do you, kids? Eh? Oh. Just cuddle. Alice. Cuddle. Oh. Okay, hang on. Ready? Oh, there you go. How old are they? Daisy, I think, is 6.5. That's the black and white one. And Alice is 5.5. So she's actually young. The one I just had on my lap is actually younger than the other one. Daisy's cuddles are crap, Molly. She's too bony. What area is that from, Ken? Always loyal. Yes, Cheesy. These two bitches will never kick me out. I think if people want to go to the pub on the 4th and give over their details when there's no system in place to keep your details and your information safe, I think you're mental. You'd be better off just going to your local co-op or Tesco's or whatever and buy some beers and drink them at home. Number one, it'd be cheaper. Number two, you haven't got to give up your privacy. I've done this myself. Yeah, cheese, exactly. Brew your own. Make some toilet wine. Is the video still on there, Jason? Andy, basically, if you go to the pub, you've got to give your details, your contact details. And that's in case somebody from the pub turns out, or somebody that's visited the pub turns out to have had COVID, and then everybody that's been in that pub can then be tracked. At which point, you're then going to have to give up all the information of all the people you've then been in contact with. I've got a feeling that you need to prove your details. Exactly, Molly, exactly. Yeah, I'm sure you do, Buffalo Bill. I'm sure of it. I'm sure I read it. The thing is, Andy, because it's a pub, they can basically not let you in anyway. They don't have to let you in. So if they change their policy to you can only come in if you provide ID, then there's nothing that we can do about that. No, not tonight, Jesus Jones. Run out of cameras now. Athelstan, I think you have to give some kind of ID. I'm not sure what. I can't remember, but I'm sure you have to give some kind of ID. Well, that's the thing, Lycan. There's no, as far as I'm aware, there's been no thought into data protection. It's literally all, you know, the pubs have to take everyone's details before they let them in. But as I say, there's been no, as far as I know, discussion about privacy, about data protection. The thing is, Cheesy, because pubs are private, it's a private building, it's a private place, we're just allowed in until we're not allowed in anymore. They can implement we need to see everybody's ID before you're allowed in if they want to, and there's nothing we can do about it. I'll have a look at that, Jason, a bit later on. Take it easy, Jay. yeah, I think pubs are going to have a hard time. You know, yes, there's going to be people that are more than willing to give up their details, but there's going to be an awful lot of people as well that are not willing to, and you know, I think they're going to be in a situation where when they open, when they open for business, all of the all the payments that need to be made, and I don't think many of them are going to make enough money to be able to do it, and I think they're actually going to be doing themselves or causing themselves a problem. Sweet, Jason. I'll check that out, mate. I will. Well, I saw a video yesterday. I can't remember the name of the channel, but there was a video yesterday of a man, and he was stood in a white neighborhood in America, stood in a white neighborhood with a Black Lives Matter sign. And he was asking people what they thought. Most people were like, yeah, well, of course, need to support. But there were ones that said, no, all lives matter, all lives matter, all lives matter. But nobody was violent. He went to a black neighborhood. Now, it could have been set up by, you know what I mean? So a lot of videos are set up, so it could have been a setup, but he went to a black neighborhood, and he was standing there with an all lives matter banner. And he kept having it ripped off of him, and then he got attacked. It, doesn't really help the the cause, does it? Graham, what have you got? Android or iPhone? Android. Okay, pull the top down. See if I can remember it. Pull the top down and go to settings. So you pull the top down and go to settings, and then scroll through your settings for the Google settings, and click on the Google settings. And in there is a list. And the very top one of mine says COVID-19 exposure notifications. Probably can't see it. It's not very clear. But yeah, so. yeah, as I say, I'll take a look at it, Jason. If it's something I can use, I will do. Like, you won't be able to get rid of it, Wizard, and you can't roll back to a previous update either, unfortunately. So once it's on your phone, it's on your phone, unless you reset your phone. But once you reset your phone, it needs updating again, and it'll update it to that latest version with that on. Athelstan, do you know what, Athelstan? I've got absolutely, and I've said this before, I've got absolutely no issue with people protesting and marching for Black Lives Matter. I ain't got an issue with that at all, because everybody is allowed. They've got a basic human right to protest. Okay, and so I've got nothing against that at all, and I'm glad that they were protesting, because if they've got something to say, then they need to be heard. The problem that I've got are the people within the movement who are taking it as far as it's being taken, in my opinion, which is way out of control. And that's not all of them, not all of the people. To be fair, I think, take it easy, Brian. I think a lot of the problems have actually come from white folk who have joined the BLM movement. And in fact, I've seen plenty of videos of white folk defacing and spray painting and all sorts of stuff like that. But just like with the police, when, you know what we say about the police, a good cop is not a good cop if they let a bad cop get away with something. Do you know what I mean? If somebody that's on a march for Black Lives Matter sees somebody doing something that they shouldn't be doing, that's going to be detrimental to the movement, or it's going to cause somebody harm, loss or damage, then they, rather than joining in, which is what it seems to be happening, they should be standing up and saying, "Oi, pack it in, piss off." But they're not. So as long as people within, you know, genuine Black Lives Matter protesters, as long as they're allowing other people to become part of that movement and cause problems, whether that's white people joining or black people joining, if they're causing problems, then they should be told to get the fuck out. Do one. Not welcome. Yeah, it's been about an hour and 20 minutes now, isn't it? I'll round it up to 2 hours, so we'll give it another 13, 14 minutes. Well, I think the police have shown themselves up recently in the fact that they've openly admitted that they're not intervening with raves, for example, because there's too many people there, and they wouldn't be able to effectively police it. But then days before, or days after rather, they turn around and say, right, well, we've heard of more raves and we are not letting it happen. We will take a firm stance and we will, chase everyone down. We will block the roads off, blah, blah, blah. But yet another rave went on in the same town. The police were phoned. Police didn't bother with it, and 2 people died, got shot. And then they turn around and say, well, the reason that we're letting the Black Lives Matter movement march, for example, part of it is because they know, and you know this as well, I think most of you know this, part of it is because they know that they won't be able to control it if it all goes belly up. And unfortunately, in quite a few cases, it has gone belly up. Anybody here, is there anybody watching this that watched Good Morning Britain this morning with Piers Morgan? Well, I woke up, I was having my coffee, put the telly on for some noise, and that was on. And I turned it on, and yes, with Dizzy Rascal. Okay. Now, I've seen Piers Morgan in action before, right? And if he asks somebody a question and they don't want to answer it, he shows off. And he goes, oh, what? Why won't you tell me? Why won't you answer my question? Right? And he has a go at them. Dizzy Rascal was on this morning, and fair play to him, absolutely fair play. Piers Morgan said to Dizzy Rascal, what do you think, or what does the Black Lives Matter movement mean to you? And Dizzy Rascal turned around and said, basically, don't ask me that, Piers. Do you know what I mean? This ain't why you've asked me on the show. I've got my opinions. They're my opinions. It's got nothing to do with you, ultimately. That's what he basically said, right? And fair play to him for that. Do you know what? I've got respect for him for that, for Dizzy Rascal. But then Piers Morgan turned around and goes, oh yeah, okay, then I respect you. Yeah, of course you don't have to tell me if you don't want to. And I'm thinking, what? I think you absolute sellout. Absolute sellout. If that, honestly, right? And again, I am being funny here at all, okay? If that was anybody else and he was asking them, as in if that was, I fucking hate to use the colours, but it's the only way I can explain it. If there was a white person on there and he said to them, what do you think about Black Lives Matter? And they went, I don't want to answer that question. That's not why I'm on here. He would have torn him an arsehole. Do you know what I mean? But Dizzy Rascal, and I say fucking respect to him for the way that he handled that this morning. Absolutely respect to him. But then Piers Morgan just turns around and goes, "Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I respect that. I respect your opinion, Dizzy Rascal. Yeah." I was like, "You absolute twat." Piers Morgan, I mean. All right, sweet, Jason. I'll check it out later, mate, when I come off of here. Andy, the phone apps, it's just the Google on the Android. I'm presuming it's on iPhone now as well, but I'm not 100% sure. But on the Android, Google on the Android's last update, it's automatically installed the framework for the track and trace app, and you can't do nothing about it. You can't get rid of it. I've got no idea, Athelstan. I've got no idea at all. What do I think of them muzzling Katie Hopkins? Well, ultimately, Twitter, being a private company, has the right to do what it wants. However, as somebody that will argue for anybody's right to have an opinion, I think that when you shut people down, it makes you look weak. I think when you shut people down in a debate, it makes you look weak. It makes you look like you're trying to hide something from people, whereas it is a lot better, in my opinion, to allow people to have their opinions and let people make up their own mind. If for example, we'll use the left and the right. If the argument from the left is that good, then they shouldn't worry about what the right have got to say. But if the right's argument, if they think that their argument is so good, then they shouldn't have to worry about what the left have to say. Do you know what I mean? But they're constantly fighting with each other. And the reason they're fighting with each other is because they know that, I think, they know that their arguments, or at least some of their arguments, aren't as strong as they want them to be. But you should let people have it out. Hello, Ian. Yeah, I've really got to stop smoking. What was that? Petrol heads? Do you know what? I'm the same. I think it don't matter who you vote in, don't matter which side that you follow, in my opinion, they all say what they think you want to hear. And then when it comes to the crunch and they get voted in, they forget about you and they do their own thing because they're now on however much money they're on a year. Do you know what I mean? And that's what they're in it for, the power. Until somebody comes forward in politics and says, this is what I'm going to do, and then actually sticks to it and does it, until that day, I don't care for any of them. Take it easy, Jason. Well, I think the thing is, Molly, I think sometimes I don't necessarily think some of the things are as controversial as people say they are. Some things are, don't get me wrong, but I think some of the stuff that's said by people like Katie Hopkins, it's not that it's controversial, it's that it's the truth. And people don't get to hear that very often from celebrities, because you know they've all got their own agenda going on, haven't they? Right, guys, I'm going to wrap this up now. Um, that's the flux capacitor. That's so I can go back in time. No worries. Thanks for hanging around for the past 2 hours. Much appreciated. Yeah, as I say, I'm not going to change the way that I do things. I will continue speaking my mind. I will continue when I believe something. I will share that belief with people. It's the same as I will interact with people and discuss their beliefs as well. But yeah, please remember to understand that other people have opinions as well. And just because it might not be an opinion that you agree with, it doesn't mean that they're a bad person for having that opinion. Not that I know of, Athelstan. You stop talking about Katie Hopkins. After all this time in lockdown, I'd pretty much bang anything at the moment. Right, folks, thanks again for joining me. Look after yourselves. That's not right, is it? So this is what happens when I don't do a PAP report. I forget. Stay safe. Look after each other. Film the police. And of course, all them motherfuckers as well. Good night, folks.